Meditation. How to meditate? That is a wrong question, because meditation is not a process, not a technique, not a time-bound practice, and hence, how is a wrong question. Meditation is not a doing. The right question could be, what is meditation? Even that has to be modified. We can come to what is meditation, but before that, we have to know what is not meditation. Because by knowing what is not meditation, eventually or naturally we come into meditation. Any struggle to fix the mind on a form is not meditation. It is only a struggle. Any effort to repeat a sound meaningful or meaningless, is also not the kind of meditation that we are aiming at. Because repetition of anything, a physical action or a verbal sound, makes the mind repetitive, mechanical, automatic, and hence dull, or even dead. That is not the mind we need to explore the real. Pursuit of visions is not meditation. There can be visions, no issue, because mind ends up seeing what it wants to see. Finally, pursuit of happiness is not meditation. Because such a pursuit makes happiness the other, which is against the truth. Time, the psychological time, should never ever be an element in meditation. Having understood what is not meditation, now we come to actual meditation. The word to meditate though it's a verb, is not an action. To meditate means to pay attention. That is meditation. Any attention. You pay attention to an outer object, like a tree or a piece of cloud, or even a dry leaf falling lazily. In the wind. Or moon, or stars, is meditation. Or paying attention to myself. Is meditation. I look at myself. Which is same as I pay attention to myself. One secret of attention that you have to check for yourself, meaning understand firsthand, is when you pay attention to anything, outer or inner, the mind becomes silent naturally, without any inducement or force or control. That is the silence which is highly beneficial. For example, as I look at myself, which means I pay attention to myself. You may notice the mind becomes silent all by itself. Which means paying attention is same as samadhi, the inner silence. I look at myself. The glory of looking at myself is, you may check for yourself. When I look at myself, the world vanishes into thin air. That is a revelation. The world, the living in the world, hangs by the thread of my attention. The moment I withdraw my attention into myself, the world, the life as we know it, disappears. And I am naturally and happily left with myself. I am with myself. In myself. As myself. That is already the meditation. Relax. Sit at ease and keep the eyes closed for a while. That is what I mean when I said relax. Now open the eyes slowly. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shruti Smruti Purana Namalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Antahkarana Vrittischa chitichhayaikyamagata vasanah kalpayet swapne bodhe kshair vishayan bahihi. These verses of Drishya Viveka are very succinct, meaning they are like aphorisms, the sutra, containing very loaded message, very deep meaning. Therefore, we will unravel the verse gradually. The text from which the verse is chosen is called Drishya Vivekaha by Shankara. You might have noticed that in Vedanta, at least in the beginning, the focus is on Karana Karya Bhava, the cause-effect relation. The Jagat is the effect and Brahman the cause. So we go on talking about Brahman, the cause of the universe, and after a while, when you go on talking and talking, after a while, you get a feeling that you know Brahman, which is the cause of the universe. Because you are talking about it for a day or for a week or for a month, you must be knowing Brahman. You too start feeling that you know Brahman. And once that feeling settles, that we know Brahman, people in the world don't know Brahman, whereas we know Brahman. Once that feeling settles, bas, any chance of knowing Brahman is out of the window. So, Karana Karya Bhava is there as part of the Vedantic study. Of course, it is indeed said Brahman is the cause of the universe. It is said like that. But all of that is called Abhyupagamaha, very provisionally said. In fact, it is, they go to the extent of saying, we say Brahman is the cause of the universe to prevent you, to stop you from saying something else as the cause of the universe. You are likely to say something else is the cause of the universe. Like that, many thinkers have surmised about many things as the origin of the universe. And it is possible that one is likely to go into that track, which does not help. And therefore, to prevent all of those things, put them all aside, we say provisionally that Brahman is the cause of the Jagat. Very provisional. In fact, it is said to the extent that Janmadhyasya Yataha, the very beginning, Tato Brahma Jijnasa, Janmadhyasya Yataha. That is how Brahma is defined. Even that is also Abhyupagamaha, means very provisional. And the Janmadhyasya Yataha, Chatussutri people, I call them like that, they are Chatussutri people. Means they study 4 sutras. Out of 582 odd sutras, they study 4 sutras. And go around in a palanquin, having studied 4 sutras. So anyway, the Janmadhyasya should be studied, not by itself or in itself, not just as part of the 4 sutras, but it should be studied together with another sutra which comes in the down deep into the text, called Prakrutyadhikaranam, Prakrutischa, like that there is a sutra. This sutra should be combined with that, and they should be studied together. So that is how it is. Therefore, the Karana Karya Bhava, the cause-effect relation between the Brahman and the world, or Brahman as the causal element of the universe. All of that discussion, the material cause or efficient cause or both or something else, all of the discussion is just the beginning. And that should not be taken as sacrosanct, and that should not be highlighted beyond a point. Because if you are highlighting that beyond a point, it becomes counterproductive. Because you have to move out of it, you have to transcend that causality aspect, and you have to move into Drishya model. That is where you have to come to enter into the proper domain of Vedantic philosophy. Therefore, Vedantins do talk of cause and effect, but cause and effect, Karya-Karana Bhava, is the domain of Dvaitis. Even not necessarily the religious Dvaitis, even philosophical Dvaitis, like Nayayikas, the Indian logicians, Vaisheshikas, the Indian atomists, and there are other Dvaitis like Big Bang theorists in modern cosmology. So, these are the people who revel in the cause-effect relationship. That is their domain, and that is where they pursue the study, and that is their strong point. Vedantins do not have much interest in all that. They just have to go through it as a formality and finish it. Vedantins come to Drishya Viveka. The distinction is very stark, like the physics of Newton versus the physics of Einstein. That kind of a distinction. In the physics of Newton, the entire physics is that of the objective world. The subject just does not matter. For example, Newton's laws, mass, acceleration, momentum, force, etc., those laws have nothing to do with a given subject. Whosoever the person may be, even in Japan or in Alaska, or somebody goes to moon by rocket and stays there for a while, anywhere, the person whosoever may be, the laws work the same way. They are not influenced by a given subject. Therefore, they are objective laws. In fact, in that physics, anything called subjectivity is considered a flaw. Suppose I measure it is 2 meters, and you measure it is 2.5 meters. Means probably there is some subjectivity in your measurement because you wanted it to be 2.5 meters, which is not science. That is how the subject is entirely put aside. That is Newtonian physics. Like Karana-Karya Bhava of the Nayayikas, Vaisheshikas, etc. There the subject is entire, no subject, only Jagat and Brahma. Brahma above, Jagat below. And the relation between the two. You are not in the picture. That is how it is like Newtonian physics. Physics did not stop with Newton. It moved forward and it has taken a quantum leap into Einsteinian physics. Similarly, Vedanta students should not stop with cause-effect story. Generally they stop there. Not all. There are always worthy exceptions. Sometimes even the gurus, not all, but the exceptions are there. They just confine themselves to the cause-effect thing. Because so it is easy to relate to the human mind, which is insecure, and therefore tell that there is Brahma, you are just here, the world is there, the Brahma is the one who created the world, and therefore the word Brahma replaces the word God. That is how it is. And therefore, you want things in the world favorable to you, then you appeal to the Brahma. So that message, it is a very easy message to pass on. And people receive it. Because people are covetous, and hence the message sounds nice, likable, and people are insecure, and therefore the message sounds important. You got the point? Therefore, this is how the message goes on. And there is no Vedanta in it. It is dualism. Ultimately, it ends up in dualism. You have to be very cautious about this cause-effect message. The real Vedanta is just like in modern physics. Modern physics, there is a thing called modern physics versus classical physics. We used to study a book, a thick volume. Its name is Modern Physics. J.B. Rajam, an Indian author. And I used to study that book a lot. So like that, Drig, Drishya, Viveka is like modern physics in the study of physics. Like modern physics to Newtonian physics, Drig, Drishya, Viveka is the step that we take away from Karya Karana, put it behind and come into the real Vedanta. That is the Drig, Drishya. And you are the Drig. And the world is Drishya. You got the point? Then if I am the Drig and the world is Drishya, what about Brahma? Don't worry about Brahma. Brahma is your maternal uncle or what? You don't know Brahma, you know. You don't know Brahma. No, we seem to know. Yeah, that is the problem. That is the Karya Karana Vichara gives you that kind of a notion. That's why what you have is not the knowledge of Brahman. What you have, you means not you. In general, that is how it is said. What you have is not the knowledge of the Brahman. If you have knowledge of the Brahman, you will be liberated. And you need not come here. We all will come to you. So, what you have is not the knowledge of the Brahman, but if you want to call it knowledge of the Brahman, you are welcome. That is how it is called. Very unfortunate. It is not the knowledge of the Brahman. What you have is just an idea of Brahman. Idea is not knowledge. Idea is not knowledge. I have a very good idea of the Mars surface. Something like that. Okay? So that is that knowledge. Therefore, so don't worry about Brahma. Brahma will come to it. You arrive into Brahman, not by asking for Brahman. That is not how you arrive into Brahman. So, you arrive into Brahman by understanding yourself. Drig, the seer, the knowing element in you, let me put it that way. In Sanskrit, Drish and Jna, to see and to know, are taken same. That's why the rishis are called the seers, those who see the truth. They are called the seer. Seer is a better word than knower. Because when you say knower, he knows means that is all an idea he has got. That is what knower is. He knows means he has an idea about it. It is like my knowing Uganda. I know there is something called Uganda in Africa somewhere, like that. Whereas seer is a different thing altogether. That's why the rishi, the word rishi is translated as the seer, not as knower. In Gita also, yah pashyati sapashyati. Pashyaha, pashyate, rukma varnam. That is Upanishad, Mundaka. Therefore, that is the language which we talk about. The one who sees. Seeing is not different from knowing, right? You know about jackfruit, whereas you taste the jackfruit. There is a difference between the two. Tasting is seeing. That is the meaning of seeing. Therefore, from knowing to seeing, you take a leap. In Karana Karya Vichara, it is all about knowing, whereas in Drig, Drishya, Viveka, it is about seeing. Seeing what? Seeing yourself. And also seeing all that is seen by you. Drishya is all that is seen by you. Or you can say, using the word is not the issue, as long as you understand the distinction. All that is known to you is Drishya, and the knowing element is Drig. This is the investigation. It is an investigation. It is not some ready-made material like the cook cooks the food and it is there on the buffet table and we only go and get in the plate and enjoy it. It is not like that. Vedanta is not like that. Vedanta is presented like that. It is very unfortunate that the gurus of the world, with the exceptions, present Vedanta like as if they are the cooks who have prepared all of it and kept ready, and it is ready to be served. Come, O people of the world, come. We are here to serve you Vedanta. And so it is there ready on the table, buffet table. You just partake of the Vedanta that is well cooked here, and you get freedom. Like that, that kind of a notion, not in so many words, that is the way it is presented, or maybe that is the way it is wrongly understood by the students. Vedanta is not a ready-made formula. It is something to be investigated. You have to investigate. That's why the Brahma Sutra doesn't begin as Athato Brahma Jnanam. Like that it doesn't begin. Yoga begins like that. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. It begins like that. It is all ready-made. Ready. You come and get advantage of it. Similarly, Vyakaranam also begins that way. Atha Shabda Anushasanam. Like that it begins. So whereas Vedanta doesn't begin like that. Vedanta begins as Athato Brahma Jijñasa, not Jnanam. Athato Brahma Jnanam, it should begin like that. Because all Jnanam is ready-made, available, and the one who knows it is there, and so you go to him, approach him, and then know it, be done with it, over. And so Vedanta is not a piece of property to be handed over or to be inherited. It is not that. You have to investigate and you have to know. That is the significance of the Drig, that knowing element in you versus all that is known to you. What is all that is known to you? You have to check that. Of course, the world is known to you. That itself is a big revelation, because people think that the world is there and we come into the world and get out of the world. And that's why, that is how they believe. And that's why the birth becomes such an important event and death becomes such a horrific event. Because you come into the world called birth, you get out of the world called death. That is how you look at the world. That's why the world becomes a curse, a source of fear and agony. That is not the correct way of looking at the world. World is not something into which you come and go. World is something which happens when you see it. And it stops happening when you stop seeing it. Drishya. Like cinema. We say cinema in India, here they call it movie. Cinema is a better name, because what is moving there? Nothing is moving. Looks like moving. It is not a movie. A train, if you go to a train station, the train is a movie because it moves. In the movie, in the theater, the screen is there, the wall is there, the screen is there, the scenes are there, nothing is moving. Only it appears as moving. Therefore they call it movie. Whereas we know better, it seems. We call it cinema. This is cinema. There is some pun also in it. Cinema, some pun is there, I don't know. In India they do these kind of things very well. Therefore, the cinema is, you don't come into the cinema, you don't get out of the cinema. Cinema is something which happens before you when you see it. And when you stop seeing it, it stops happening also. That is the world. World is like a cinema. Drishya. If world is Drishya, then the one who sees it, who is more important? The cinema or you? You are more important. All these cinema people, they are struggling very hard to attract your attention, to bring you to the theaters. That is all they are striving for. And sometimes they succeed when you bless them, and they fail when you stop blessing them. They are in your hands. The world is in your hands. The world appears so solid and concrete and real only because you look at it that way. You look at the world as solid, concrete, real. That's why the world appears so. If you change the way you look at it, suppose you start looking at it as, oh, the world is unreal. Suppose you start looking at it that way, then its so-called reality, it vanishes like a piece of ice kept in the sun. Therefore, the world is drishya, something which is known to you, and you are the knowing element, drig. Here we say drig, not drashta. There is a reason for it. In you, when you look at yourself, in you, there is a person. And you take yourself to be that person. Please understand this. I am trying to explain the word drig. And my only concern is whether I will be able to put the message forward properly. That is my only concern. That's why I say please try to understand. So, there is a person in you. I suggest a few things. So hopefully you pick up the suggestion and understand the person. The person in you is a product of time. You say, I am 40-year-old. That means that is the person, product of time. And suppose you say, I believe in such and such God. That is also the person. I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim, I am a Christian, you say. That is the person. And what is Hinduism, what is Christianity, what is Islam, etc.? There are so many belief systems, you know. And the belief is, it is coming from the past. And therefore, your belief is a product of time, the past. Your belief is the past. And therefore, you with your belief is a product of time, is a product of the past. The person is a product of the past. You just examine yourself in yourself. Suppose you allow the past to be suspended temporarily. Past you put aside. No past. Means no memory. Memory is past. No past, no memory. You are not a person. You are there. Without memory, you are there, very much there. But you are not a person. You got it? Okay. I am afraid because the way you look at me, did you get it? Yes, that person. Now once you get the person, sometimes I may like to call it persona, to make it into a concrete thing that you don't allow it to slip away. This person, it is also called ego. Ahankaraha. Ego, that is the person. When you say person, it sounds very good, respectable. Whereas when you say ego, it doesn't sound good. But both are same. Okay? Therefore, I said person first, so that you don't become angry with me. I am constantly afraid. Who will become angry with me? This is a crazy world. And this is a thankless job. Because whatever you say, somebody becomes angry. And you have to keep everybody khushi. Arey, you cannot do that. How can you do that? That is not possible. You cannot play to the gallery whole life. So that's why I said person, very respectable. Oh, I'm a person, very respectable. Suppose I say, you are ego. Hey, I am ego, what about you? You are also must be sannyasi ego, Swami ego, which is true. Therefore, not to pull out that negative thing from you, I said person. But otherwise it is one and the same. The person, the ego, or the persona. Now the point is whether the Drig is the person, Drig or Drishya. That is the point. And if you catch it, you are on the right royal path of self-realization. And the point is, even the person is Drishya, known to you. You can see the movement of that person. Suppose you are planning something against somebody. Who is planning? The person. And that person is known to you. You are not the person. You are the one who knows the person in you. Suppose you mix up there. You mix yourself with the person. Meaning, you take yourself to be the person. You are making a very fundamental mistake, the original sin. That is what you are making, and you better stop making it. When you are trying to do something against the other person, that is the person in you which is plotting, which is scheming. That is the person in you. You recognize that. Okay, here is the person that is scheming. Now, you may continue with this your scheming, but at least know that that is the person which is scheming, and you are aware of that person. And that you, who is aware of the person in you, the ego in you, is the Drig. That you is the Drig. To bring you to that you is a job. Did I do that job successfully? Okay, we are on the way. That is the Drig. So beginning with the person up to the world, which is outside. The person is inside. The world is outside. There is a big list. All of that is Drishya. So I have addressed the entire Drishya, the entire spectrum of the Drishya. At the one end of the spectrum is the world, Drishya. Very small, simple thing it is. The world is Drishya to you. But the person is the Drishya at the other end of the spectrum. The person, the world. That is all Drishya. We call it Drishya Koti, means the category called Drishya. And you are above, watching down, Drig. You are in the top floor, watching below. And you are the Drig. You have to know it. And how can I make you know yourself as the Drig? I cannot make you know yourself as the Drig. You have to know yourself as the Drig. That is the job which you have to do, not I. Yesterday I went to a doctor for tummy. I was upset and I went to a physician. He gave me a prescription and he said, I sent the prescription to the CVS. You go. And I wanted to say something more. He said, I already sent the prescription to the CVS. So I don't have any, he is done with me. I said, okay, namaskar. And I walked away. And now I went to it is my job to go to CVS, get that. And you have to fulfill a formality to get it from the CVS. Fulfill that formality, get it, and get a cup of water and put it, gulp it down. And then I will be relieved of my difficulty. You have to do such a thing. It is your job. And what happens is, an ambience is created. In the ambience, you come here. Here means not necessarily this place, I am just saying in general. You come to the place of Vedanta, there very nice food is prepared. So that means you have to offer thailam. We say in Telugu thailam. You have to offer some candy kind of thing. So when I went to some place, they have put candies there with one stick and some red thing. And I was just looking at it. And the lady, the other side of the counter, she looked at me looking at it. This is some kind of Drishya. And she said, you are welcome, sir, you can take it. Oh, how much I have to pay? You need not pay anything, you can take it. Oh, is it free? You give free? Candy is free. Very nice people. I told my friend, hey, look at these people, so nice, they give candies free. So like that food, nice food is available. Is that the way? That is the way. So, and you have nice food, nice rooms, nice this, nice that. You come and have nice food, and then you sit in a wonderful cozy seat and relax. And now the guru has to do this job. What a model. And the funny thing is it works. But the fact is it doesn't work. You have to investigate. So let me look at the entire, I am only still looking at Drig, Drishya, Viveka. Once I do that, then my life becomes easy. With the verse I can take you along the verse easily. So the entire spectrum of Drishya you have to settle and put yourself on the lofty pedestal of Drig. Drig, very special it is. Drig, sometimes also called Drishihi. And the perfect English translation could be the knowing element in you. Not you the person, not you the person. The knowing element in you. And then the entire Drishya is, Drig is one. That is Advaita. Drig is one. Drishya is many. And if Drishya is real, then one cannot be one anymore. It becomes Vishishta-Advaita, like yesterday night we are talking about, So only, fortunately, the Drishya, the entire spectrum, is unreal, is an appearance, and hence Drig remains as the one and the only one. That is when you understand the entire Drishya as unreal. And to understand the Drishya unreal, you have to examine the Drishya. You have to investigate the Drishya. It is like you are looking at a serpent, which makes you frightened out of your wits. A serpent. My God, serpent. And then you are shaking with fear. It happens to anybody. Now, what you need to do is examine what you are looking at. And then it proves to be a joke. It is not real. You see, in our village, in the childhood, there used to be melas, mela, like some kind of a big market comes at one place, that kind of mela. And we were looking at mela, we did not have enough money in the pocket. We don't have a pocket money. We only had a pocket, no pocket money. You know why? The word pocket money did not exist. The concept was not there. I heard the word pocket money much later. Then I asked, oh, pocket money means the money that you keep in pocket? No. That is not pocket money. Pocket money has a better connotation, okay? So, somebody, one of our colleagues who plays with us, Kabaddi and all that, He went to a mela and brought an item. That is a serpent. Rubber serpent, made of rubber. Very convincing toy, it is serpent. And then we made a play. What is the play? There was an elderly person, a bit innocent, and people make fun of him also. So he is coming. What we did, there was a wall, a dilapidated wall. We hide ourselves behind it and push this serpent in the way he is coming and put it there. And we were watching from behind the wall. And he came. He saw the serpent and he ran away. And we all jumped out of the wall, shouting and clapping, because our ploy worked so well. Okay, we were very excited. And then we are playing. Then somebody else is coming. Hey, let us do this again. So we went behind the wall and pushed this serpent on the way. He came, saw the serpent, did not run away, took one step back and watched carefully. Then he looked around. He saw one or two of our over-anxious guys looking, that also he saw. And then he looked at the serpent one more time. He understood. He went near it, took it into your hand, folded it and put it in the pocket and went away. And now we ran after him. Sir, please give back our serpent. What will you do with the serpent? It will hurt you. No, sir, it won't hurt. It is not a real serpent. Oh, it is not real serpent. It is not. But then why did you put there? Sir, please excuse us. Please give it back. Then he said, you should never play this trick against anybody. Then only I will give it back. We will never play, sir. He gave it back. So that gentleman, we are like the first one who looks at the serpent and runs away and goes to a guru who treats for serpent things. There are gurus like that. And then the other one, he just examines. He doesn't have a guru. He examines himself. He is the guru himself. Maybe a guru told him, don't believe what all you see. But now he guides himself and he examines and knows. You have to do some such job. That is your job. It is not the speaker's job. The speaker only shares, discusses with you. We are examining the whole blessed thing together. Are we not doing so? Are we not examining together? Are you with me in that? So that is all. That is all. I don't have answers to the problems of your life. How can I have answers to the... more often than not, I have no answers to my own life problems. What answers I can give you? So, therefore, you have to examine and investigate, and you have to find the answers, solutions within you. The truth is in you. That you have to find out. Therefore, so you are the Drig. You have to put yourself on the proper pedestal of the Drig, the one who is aware of, the knowing element of the entire gamut of the Drishya, which begins with the persona and ends with the outer world. And this persona is not you. Where is this persona located? What is the locus of this persona? The locus of this persona is the inner organ called mind. Antahkarana. That is how it begins. Antahkarana vrittischa. Now we are entering into the understanding of Drishya. Therefore, there is an inner organ. Understand these organs, they are broadly 5 plus 5 plus 1. These are the organs. You are not just a body. Just a body means it is a cadaver. You are not just a body. You are a body plus a set of organs. That is what you are. And what are the organs? 5 plus 5 plus 1. 5, the organs of action. 5, the sense organs. And 1, the inner organ. Karana is organ. Antahkarana, inner organ. And that inner organ, it is a composite. And it is composed of broadly 2 things. 1, the thought process. You know, the thought process. Continuously thoughts are generated. That is a part and parcel of the inner organ. And then this person, ahankara or ahankruti, that is also part and parcel of that inner organ. You got it? Now let us look at that inner organ as broadly consisting of 2 elements. One is the person and the other is the thought process. Ahankara, manaha, you got it? The language. Now that is where the entire Drishya scheme begins. There is ahankara in you. Are you aware of it or not? You are aware. Okay. You see, you should create that small distance between you, the knowing element, and the ahankara, the egotism, which is very much a part of that inner organ. Do you see what I mean? What I am trying to say? That small distance. Are you able to see that? So, you see that ahankara, the inner organ, part of the inner organ, you don't find it in the child. The child doesn't have it. As the child grows, it acquires it. Along with the thought process. It comes along with the thought process. Both together, they grow. The child grows means not only the limbs and body grow, but also the psychology also grows gradually. As part of that growth, suddenly the child finds itself having a thought process and also a persona, an identity, an identity. The identity is defined by many factors like caste, creed, race, religion, parents, gender. So many things define the identity. And that is the persona, that is the egotism. That is also part of the inner organ, which you have acquired over a time. You are not born with it. You have acquired it. And it has come somewhere in between. Maybe at the age of 7, 8, 9 it came. And then it became stronger and stronger. Now it has so completely overwhelmed you that you forget your real stature of the Drig and become one with that egotism. You understand? So now you have to put an end to that. You have to break that unholy identification. No, I am not the ahankara. I am the one who is aware of the ahankara. Now, you look at this is a meditation. You look at the ahankara. I was looking at the ahankara. I am demonstrating to you. I am looking at the ahankara. What is this ahankara doing? It is trying to get something for itself. It is called self-interest. This ahankara, it is always working for self-interest. It is pursuing something all the time, and it is working for it. Quite often, not just working, it is scheming and plotting also. You now know what is the ahankara. I see it in myself. And only misfortune is, I identify with that ahankara. That is the misfortune. Seeing it doesn't matter. That is great. But identifying is the problem. So don't identify with that scheming, plotting, copywriting, selfish, covetous, frightened ahankara. Okay? If I put so many adjectives, finally I forget what is that substantive that I have to say. Anyway, I said it, ahankara. That ahankara you can recognize in you. In the relationship between wife and husband, if they do not pay attention, that ahankara takes over life, and the wife tries to exploit the husband for her pursuit, and husband tries to exploit her for his pursuit. This is how they mutually exploit each other, and they call it sacred relationship. This, put some religion into it and make sacred. What they are doing is exploiting each other, and psychologically dependent upon each other. That is how the relationship is. Nothing sacred about it, unless we make it sacred with with a dash of religion, you know. They put something on that ice cream on the top, they put something like that. so that cherry, so like that you put some religion into it. Now it becomes sanctified. There's nothing sacred in it. That is real sacred, I will tell you one of these days. So, therefore, it is ahankara. And with that, you are trying to dominate the partner in life. You are trying to dominate. The man dominates rather overtly, and the woman dominates covertly. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. But I am only struggling to put the message across to make you see the egotism in you. It is there. I can see it in myself. It is there. I can see it in myself. It is already thinking of breakfast. So it is there. I am aware of its movement. It is there. It is a movement. It is not something sitting there. It's a movement. And it is there in the inner organ together with the thought process. And one defining characteristic of the ahankara, I will tell you what it is. You get it, you cannot miss the ahankara anymore. The defining characteristic is doership. Aham karomi iti ahankaraha. I do. You say, I make money, I put bread on the table. That is ahankara. And I am a self-made man. Okay? And I have come to America. I have studied MA. I have done this, done that, doing this, doing that. People don't recognize me enough. That is the ahankara. A similar thing can be here also. If I am not careful, I am the guru, I am the teacher of Vedanta. I teach great texts like Drig, Drishya, Viveka. And people attend my classes. That is ahankara here. It can be anywhere. That is the ahankara. And I see its movement. And it is always associated with the thought process. Now let us complete the gamut. So ahankara, the egotism, the thought process. Then there is intellectual also, intellectual accomplishment. There is an intellect, let us say intellect. Then there are emotions, feelings. I am telling you entire Drishya, the entire spectrum of Drishya. Then eyesight, faculty of hearing, touch, smell, and then taste, then the walking, the holding, the tasting, etc., tasting covered, so digesting, and all these things, the body, the physical body, the organs, the body, the limbs, and then the house, family, the world. This is the Drishya. Did you get the entire spectrum of the Drishya? That is the Drishya. Please don't make this mistake. Don't put yourself in Drishya. You are the Drig. When you go to the movie, you enjoy the movie only when you are a Drig. You cannot enjoy the movie if you become part of the Drishya. You are not in the Drishya, you are the Drig, and you enjoy the movie. You watch the movie, enjoy it, whatever name you give to it. So similarly, this game, this flow, this Drishya, it is always going on, and you are the one who is watching it, who is paying attention to it, or who, I am using the language, you are witnessing all this Drishya, you are the witness, and you are illuminating it and also witnessing it. You are the knowing element, the Drig. This distinction between Drig and Drishya, distinction, Viveka, distinction, that liberates you. And that is the text, Drig Drishya Viveka. You see, I have explained the meaning of the word Drig Drishya Viveka, and this is now and here, this Drig Drishya Viveka, sometimes it is called spirituality or spiritual life, which it is. This spiritual life or spirituality is not the other side of the river. It is not in the future. It is not the other side of the river. You should not make that mistake. You see, breakfast, is it now and here, or is it the other side of the river? It is now and here. Another 5 minutes we will go and have breakfast. So, the spiritual life is not the other side of the river. It is this side. It is on this side. So, the way we sit here, the human being, with all his or her problems and issues of life, the travails of existence, that human being, where that human being is, there the spiritual life is, not the other side of the river. And therefore, this we have to understand, that the spiritual life is not the other side of the river, is not somewhere else. Somewhere else means in space. It is not in Hrishikesh, it is in you, here. It is not in the future, it is in you now. It is not in heaven, it is in you now. As you live here, as you stay here, as you live your life, face the challenges of life, go through the difficulties and vicissitudes of life, as you are doing all of that, the spiritual life is with you now and here. That is how you have to understand. That is one point you have to understand. Then a very important second point that you have to understand is, people have all kinds of funny notions about religion. They think that some of the dualistic religious practices that they pursue will eventually take them to Brahmajnana. They are wrong. You cannot reach the goal by following the wrong means. Okay? You cannot get the right end with the wrong means. For example, in this, just I am giving you an example. In the world, they want peace. They want peace, shanti. You know what everybody is doing? They are arming themselves to the teeth. Everybody. Why? Because they want peace. Now, that is not the way you get peace. You stop supplying arms. Stop supplying arms. No further arms shipment. Then what will happen to all the war theaters? But they will get peace right away. No, you manufacture arms, go on supplying. Whosoever wants to purchase, go on supplying. And then diplomacy, create peace. What peace you will get? You will never get peace. Something or the other will be. You see, the fire is burning. By throwing more and more fuel into it, the fire will not stop burning. Okay? So, by a wrong means, you cannot accomplish the right end. Anyway, therefore, what is the religion? You have to understand the religion correctly. So, if you assume that some of these religious practices will pave the ground for Brahma Vidya, self-realization or Brahma Jnanam, you are living in your own imagination. They call fool's paradise. No. What is the true religious act? I want to define that and leave you alone so that you can go for breakfast. The truly religious act is an act of understanding. You understand. Suppose this morning, let us say, we have tried at least to understand the Drig versus Drishya. Can we say that? So this effort, or this is not an effort, I am using the word effort, it is effortless effort. It is not a doing, it is paying attention, it's an understanding. So this understanding of the distinction between Drig vis-a-vis Drishya, this understanding in you, now and here, is a religious act. You have performed a religious act. Unfortunately, it has a kind of an ambience we have created for ourselves, unfortunately, in the world, in the society, that a religious act means you perform a ritual, that becomes a religious act. And if you understand yourself as the real Drig, not the egotism, that has nothing to do with religion. So this is how we have created a very kind of a funny religion which is totally divorced from the real. That kind of a religion, the ritualism and mythology, which is divorced from philosophy, so that becomes dogmatic and leads to all kinds of ills. Therefore, while sitting here, you and me, we have examined our life, we have looked at ourselves and tried to understand the Drig in us vis-a-vis the Drishya in us. Of course, outside is also Drishya, but there is a lot of Drishya within us which is parading as a Drig. If you do not take care, it parades as the Drig. It is not the Drig. A lot of inside is not the Drig. The body is not the Drig. The ahankara is not the Drig. We have tried to understand, oh, this is the egotism. This is not the Drig. I am aware of it, and hence it is the Drishya. This understanding, this small gap you create between Drig and Drishya, this is the religion. A truly religious act it is. This you have to understand. So two things I have put before you to understand. One is the spiritual life is not on the other side of the river. It is now and here. Second is true religion consists of understanding the reality of yourself. So with this I conclude this class. We will continue that verse in the evening class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam.
Howdy Om. So I've just an announcement here. There's a WhatsApp group for Swami TV info that you can join, and you'll be receiving information about this course and transcriptions of the classes. There's a little list of things you'll get over time, information about Swami TV's courses, and that's, if you want to get into that WhatsApp group, there's one of these QR codes on the table in the hallway. If you take your iPhone, your phone, and you scan it, a little link should pop up, and then you touch that link, you can join the group. And if you don't know that technology, you can leave your WhatsApp phone number on this paper, and you'll receive, you'll be added to the group. I'm just verifying what's included for this class. It'll be class info, links to the classes on YouTube, transcriptions, references will be posted. Sometimes Swamiji references something, you'll get a link to that reference. And then in the long term, all Swamiji's classes info will be shared at that group. Okay? Hari Om.